Hello and welcome to Geeks Assembled, and today we're going to be reviewing Octopussy, the James Bond film with Roger Moore. I completely lost my train of thought then. Joined by a group of people, so we'll quickly go around and get opening thoughts before moving on to the nitty-gritty of things. So let's first go to Craig and David.
Octopussy. It was my first ever viewing of this film, and it was. I liked it. It was good that they did like a whole Indian theme and
yeah, the locations.
Yeah, I didn't even know about it, and I was yeah, it was good to be introduced to the whole Octopussy clan and the world of the Octopussies.
It had nothing to do with our local fish shop, but yeah, Roger Moore. I never really got into Roger Moore. You know, he's but now I really, you know, he did bring a real comic element, or hinted in the first, you know, sort of James Bond movies. But
and my old boss said as well. When I was in the shop where Capaldi used to come in, he said to me, "Oh, there's a really old James Bond who just came in to buy his newspaper. He's a legend." And I thought it was Sean Connery, but he said, "No, it's the other one." So it must be him. But I didn't recognise him, sadly.
But it seemed to sort of really pick up pace halfway through. I thought the fight on top of the train was amazing. You know,
with that
with the two brothers. You know,
what's his name? Not Jaws. He had a turban on. What was his name?
Yeah, we had a special name for him, like when we were watching the movie, like But yeah, it was good. No, but I think it's not one of the best. One of the best, and the thing that doesn't really follow that much on the Ian Fleming book, but again, like sort of like I was just reading about it the other day. So something cost like 27 million to put together, and it grows something like 187 million. You know, that's incredible, man. I mean, today's not that it's important, that money, but it's like it's incredible how many people were following Bond. It was the biggest thing at the time. You know, it's almost like the Bourne Identity of the day. You know?
And I like the nod to Alien with the face hugger.
Oh yeah, that was great. Yeah, we talked about the attachment of the
Attack of the Pussy.
Yeah,
the octopus. Sorry.
If you pardon that pun.
I was expecting to see more tattoos. Actually, I only got to see one, didn't she? She said, "That's my little octopus."
That's my little octopus. But so many.
I thought we were going to go through like a line of bunny girls.
A whole lot of sort of like you have to come in Bridget Bardot like I am Octopussy. I'm Octopussy. No, that was John Lennon. John Lennon Octopussy. That was it. Yeah, I'm John Lennon Octopussy. Anyway, getting off the track again, guys. And we're drinking tea. My God.
And what's in the tea, David?
Well, this is it.
Yeah, great setting though.
No, actually, really picked up pace. I really enjoyed it. Probably halfway through, like, but I can't remember how long the movie was. It's about 2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours, 10 minutes.
Like that, yeah.
I think to sit in the cinema and watch that length of movie, I mean, it's quite. Maybe they broke it into 2 parts or something. I don't know. Yeah, you know. But Lewis Jordan was in, who was actually he was one of the first Draculas. You know, played the role of Dracula. It's quite nice to see him and Maud Adams. Right, you know. He went down the wrong way. And of course, John Barry, one of my favourite composers of all time. You know, but I didn't realise he didn't actually do the theme. It was, I can't remember the guy's name. It was he was like a sort of a Tim Van Halley, I think, composer, and he had that tune that, you know, ding 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 in the pentatonic scale. And they picked up on it, but John Barry put all the incidental music. Genius. The music's, I think my favourite music is probably Moonraker, you know, and I would say probably Thunderball and Goldfinger. Anyway, over to you guys.
Thank you, Craig and David. Let's go over to Tim next. What do you think, Tim?
I had never seen this movie all the way through. Actually, I'd seen bits and pieces of it over the years. So I finally sat down and watched it. I was pretty amazed. I thought it was a pretty good movie. You were saying how much money it made.
Yeah.
That was up against another Bond movie that was out at the time, that remake of Thunderball, Never Say Never Again, with Sean Connery. So that's interesting. That I guess it won the battle of the Bonds, but
not difficult.
not too difficult. But, I think the thing about Bond movies is that there's a formula to it. I mean, it's quite simple, really. You just have to have the set pieces with the stunts and the fast cars and the you have to have the pretty girls, at least one or two girls per film, to be the Bond girl, and you have to mix all that up in a new and interesting way every time. This one's about halfway through where we are today, and I think they did a pretty good job. They broke the mold too, because usually they kill off one of the Bond girls, and they didn't do that this time, fortunately, because they were both pretty interesting. And this is Maud Adams' second appearance as a Bond girl. Remember, she was in The Man with the Golden Gun as well. But yeah, this is a very entertaining Bond film. It just goes from one event to the other. A lot of stylish running around, and you were talking about the train sequence, and that's followed up by the plane sequence. I mean, this movie kind of never ends when it comes to the set pieces and the adventure. So I was surprised. I mean, because I don't know why I never watched this one from the beginning to end, but it holds up very well. It's a very good movie. I don't think it really matters who the actor is. I mean, a lot of people say that Connery's better than Moore ever was, and I think as long as the movie's written well and directed well, then I mean we proved it with Lazenby that it doesn't really matter who's in the part.
It's true, yeah.
So yeah, I found it very enjoyable to watch. It's one of the best ones, I think. To be fair.
Thank you, Tim. Let's go over to Lee next. What do you think, Lee?
Octopussy is my favourite Moore movie. It's that, well, this is when the Roger Moore franchise sort of became slightly more realistic. Starting with For Your Eyes On, because that was more grounded, not like sci-fi event Moonraker, not like the world domination, underwater world domination from Stromberg in A Spy Who Loved Me. This was more grounded. It's not anything to do with the novel, but the novel is in the film, because Octopussy does say it about her father being given the choice of suicide or being brought in by a secret agent was Bond. That was the story of Octopussy in the novel. So they did get it somehow, but we also got the story of Property of a Lady, well, with the auction house, which also was done, I think it was Livia Lights as well. But the setting,
1967.
Yeah, the setting of this is amazing. The scenery just takes your breath away. The India set, brilliant. Louis Jardin as the villain, Kamal Khan is awesome. I love this one. It's one of my favourites. I'll get to my favourite moment when we get round to that. It was good to sit down and watch Octopussy again. And amazingly, this was only the 13th movie. What are we on now? 20 odd?
25.
25, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This was only 13th. And as it had been said, they were panicking as well. They were panicking as well because Roger Moore had signed up for the movie. It was a last minute thing. They even auditioned, what's his name, the American actor Brolin, for the role. What's his name? Is it?
Josh Brolin.
Can't remember his name now. That's him. They auditioned him for the role.
James.
But last minute thing, Roger signed on the line.
Yeah, it's James
Brolin.
James.
Yeah, James Brolin. So there was going to go down the route American actor.
Thank God for that they didn't. Yeah,
Back to you, Connor.
I have very strong thoughts on that. Anyway, we'll move over to Susan. What's your opening thoughts?
Well, James Brolin would have been a really good choice because he would have played it as a British man. He would have done the accent work. He's a good actor, and that's why he's one of the most highly paid actors right now, because he actually does a whole bunch of work to make things work for his characters. But that's not what we're discussing here. What we're discussing here is Octopussy, and I really liked it. I love the clown, the circus sequences. I think that those are great. The bomb in exchange for the jewelry thing in the box, that was quite clever. And the fact that they were all about nuclear right then, and there was a whole bunch of sort of angst in the world about nuclear weaponry at that point, like so much. It was just amazing. And having the Bay of Pigs and the whole situation with Cuba, and the nuclear proliferation and just amongst the Russians and the and therefore East Germans, and then the the West, the West Germans as a product of NATO and stuff. And the other thing that was really interesting was instead of calling it East Germany and West Germany, they said this is the American section. Back and forth. And I think that and then the fact that they were talking about an American Air Force base. I mean, that was quite interesting. But the circus aspect of it, both Octopussy's circus of women, who really were mostly acrobats and gymnasts and power lifters and all these super athletic forms. Oh, I'm gone out of focus again. There we go. These power lifters and acrobats and strong women, and then they were that was a circus, and then there was the circus of the clowns and the elephants and all those. That was really cool, and that was a good dichotomy, and so yeah, I enjoyed it. Back over to you, Connor.
Thank you, Susan. Yeah, I haven't seen Octopussy in must be now nearly 10 years. It's one of the ones that get forgotten about, I think. Maybe that's just by me. But it's never really mentioned, it's never really praised. Roger Moore's era in general, I'm not massive on. I think it's starts off amazing, then they completely changed the tone, and apart from a few great performances from people like Christopher Lee and to a certain degree Julian Glover in For Your Eyes Only. Other than that, and obviously Richard Keel for Jaws. Other than that, it's just kind of really lame and quite tedious to watch back. He's my least rewatched Bond. So Octopussy was the one that really kind of got hit the hardest by that, because I've only seen it 2 or 3 times compared to the other ones. And on this watch, my opinion on it kind of maintained. I always liked it. I always thought it was one of the better ones. Yeah, as everyone mentioned, I think that the circus thing really added something to it. And the Indian setting was absolutely fantastic. They haven't gone to India again, I don't think, in the Bond films, unless I'm misremembering. It's a very kind of it's weird because they don't really globetrot in this one. They used to globetrot quite a lot, but not in this. To kind of just stick with India, and it works because you got obviously you got Kamal Khan and the Fabergé egg, which, as Lee mentioned, is a product of Property of a Lady, which is a short story in the same book, I believe, that was mixed in with this. The auction scene, from what I recall, is not in the Octopussy short story. That's basically the short story of Property of a Lady, that entire auction scene. But this movie has actually got some pretty strange scenes for the Roger Moore era, in that the one that I'm thinking of is when right after the titles, because I originally thought it was a pre-title sequence, but it's not. It's right after the titles. The agent 009, I think, was it 009? He got murdered dressed as a clown by
Correct.
by the knife throwing maniacs hired by Kamal Khan, and that, as a 12-year-old watching it for the first time, creeped the shit out of me. And Bond isn't known for creeping the shit out of people.
No.
But there's something about a clown. In fact, I can actually pinpoint the exact moment that I think it gets creepy, and it's the face he pulls when he comes up against the two guys. That is absolutely terrifying. And I'm not used to getting terrified by Bond, so it's a bit of a different movie in that. But it's also got some great comedy. One of my favourite scenes. I'm just going to mention it now, and I'll let you lot get into the favourite moments later. Is when Bond kind of floats up to the palace, whatever it is, in the alligator.
Oh yeah,
The makeshift alligator. That is absolute. That is Connery level inventiveness. Connery would do. In fact, Connery did do almost exactly the same thing in Goldfinger, when he put the bird on top of his head and on top of his swimsuit and swam up to the complex before he blew it up. It's a very Sean Connery kind of move. And Maud Adams, who reappears as a different character from her former self in Man with the Golden Gun, she's great in this. In fact, I think she's better in this than she is in Man with the Golden Gun.
She got best supporting actress.
Yeah, that's right. Best supporting actress.
And as you mentioned, Louis Jourdan as Kamal Khan is fantastic. This is actually the first appearance of Robert Brown as M, and he's not my favourite M. He comes across to me as he's got a massive stick up his ass about everything. He's not got the charm and the charisma of
Bernard Lee.
Bernard Lee. Yeah. That really kind of it kind of that becomes more apparent in License to Kill. That's where it really kind of rubs me up the wrong way. But in this, I just find him he's just too strict. I don't think M in many ways provides a bit of, as I said, charisma. Like even Judi Dench managed it, and I think that Robert Brown is just too straight down the line, authoritarian with it. But it's a different kind of take on the character, so I can't really fault him, I guess. But yeah, Octopussy in general, I would probably say is one of the better Roger Moores. It's not my favourite Roger Moore, but it's one of the better ones, definitely. And yeah, as David mentioned, John Barry on the score is
Frozen again.
you can never go wrong with John Barry on a Bond score. Every Bond score he's done is just magic. Unfortunately, he's dead now, so he can't come back. But I think David Arnold sort of took his place, which, in fact, I'd love David Arnold to come back as well. But yeah, that's my opening thoughts. So next we'll move on to favorite moments. So let's go to Lee. Lee, what's your favorite moments?
Oh, there's so many. I just want to point out as well, you mentioned John Barry. Let's talk about the theme song here. All Time High, sung by Riku Lynch. Good song, but it's not a classic Bond theme. Lyrics written by Tim Rice of Weber and Rice fame. But it fits. It's the movie really. You could have an action theme song like A View to Kill or Living Days for this movie. This was more of a laid back movie set within like that. So it's sort of the movie. Favorite moment. I mean, you say the train fighting on the train. I mean, just the stunts. The stunt on the train where Bond's on the side of the train. That took out a stuntman.
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
I don't know if you know that. It took out a stunt. Crushed all Broly's fine leg or water. So Filmin had to stop for that.
He killed him?
The stunt on the top of the aeroplane as well. It just amazes me what they come up with or what they can get away with. But Gobinder, I think his name was, the Kamal's henchman. Gobinder, I think it was, all Indian crushes the dice. What a great henchman. Just by looking at his eyes, pure hatred in them eyes. But Kamal Khan is about Louis Jourdan, a very subtle, threatening villain, which I like him way. And the way he says Octopussy, just Octopussy. It's brilliant. But yeah, I like this one. It's more at its best. The humour is toned down. There's not a lot of humour, as in all the other movies. The humour is sort of toned down. It's still there.
Yeah.
And also you've got Stephen Berkoff. Sir Stephen Berkoff in this. Which, a powerhouse actor.
Yeah, he's great.
Brilliant. Just to get actors in these movies, it's just, can get away with it. It's brilliant. Over to you, Con.
Thank you, Lee. In fact, the stuntman, no, it didn't kill him, but he insisted after that accident to finish the scene, and I think he did. It's in the documentary. So yeah, that guy is made.
So it didn't kill him?
No, it didn't kill him.
Okay.
Let's next go over to.
Pick me.
Go on. Pick me. Go on.
Susan, you got to put your hand up.
Pick me. All right. Well, my favorite I'd like to go because I really want to talk about this stuff. My favorite moments in this were in the circus. I love the
circus.
The explosions that happened in the with the cannon, the human cannonball. I mean that was those were Bond style stunts in the circus. So I mean, like, they were basically doing a Bond movie in the circus with clowns. It was really cool. And then I love the fact that VJ Armitage was in this because he was in Star Trek 4 and he played the captain of the ship that first encountered the probe, and he and his crew were dying because the probe had shut off their life support. I mean, that was really interesting. you know, here he was so endearing, and what a good actor. Anyway.
Well, Susan, to interrupt you there, but he was a tennis player at the time.
Yeah, he's a professional tennis player.
That's why they got the tennis things in the movie.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
He's not a very good tennis player, but he is a tennis
But
player.
he was his height in '83.
Yeah,
But that was a good scene though, with the crowd with the tennis.
Yeah.
He was hitting on the head like in the car.
Yeah.
I actually knew he was a professional tennis player before I knew he was in this film. So when I saw him and I recognised him and I thought, he's got a tennis racket in his hand. That's just fate. But then it must have been intentional, I guess, because of the...
If that had been Jack Nicholson, he probably would have had a golf club. Something like this.
And Lee's moment that he was talking about was he hits the guy's head, and the whole crowd turns and oohs like they would in Wimbledon. Yeah. And then the other you know, he hits the other guy's head, and the crowd turns their head the other direction.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So,
yeah.
And there was like the ooh, like at Wimbledon. Anyway, It was a very Wimbledon moment. You're quite right. And yeah, so that was it. And that was all during in a motorcycle rickshaw, which was fun. I mean, like, exciting and stuff. And the Stephen Burkhart, like, old Orloff. I mean, wow. First of all, he's named after a vampire. Second of all, I mean, so incredibly sinister. And yeah, so and then the other was the jewelry, like he stepped on the jewelry and all the fake bits fell off this beautiful piece of antique jewelry. It's just, you know, yeah, I was like, what the heck? This is like, and then when they stomped on the Fabergé egg, I mean, whoa. Anyway, yeah, I really liked seeing VJ in this, because I really love Star Trek 4. It's a fun movie. And I mentioned the women, the strong women, Octopussy's group, and their attack of this citadel. And I just think that they were, I mean, those are, again, Bond style stunts in that moment. Anyway, back over to you, Connor. Thanks for letting me go.
Thank you, Susan. Let's go over to Craig and David next.
It's funny, just he was talking about Stephen Burkhoff. You know, he's a great actor. I was lucky enough to meet him in the King's Head in Islington many years ago, you know, and he just finished the Craze movie, you know, and he was kind of sort of the glory of that, you know, and listening there, you know, we were all these friends around the table, and he was a nice guy to talk to. He had amazing eyes, like sort of like almost like sapphire, you know, sapphire eyes, you know, incredible looking guy, real presence about him, like, you know. Anyway, sorry, I didn't know about they were thinking of doing a TT. The TT racetrack in Isle of Man. We're thinking of opening with a motorbike chase in the Isle of Man. How weird is that, you know? As Bond dressed as a gorilla. So, you know, the spoof part was getting, the ante was going up, like, you know. But you're right, like, I think...
It reminded me of Trading Places. And
oh, yeah. Good one, yeah. And, the Turbinator. You know, he came in a few times, didn't he? Like, you know. Yeah. What do you mean, Nicole? No, but I think he was... No, I think the thing is, like, with CGI now, you know, you can be anywhere in the world at any point. You know, the thing is, as Connor was saying, like, you know, it's stuck in India, like, and it just showed you India, like, just amazing colours, and it's beautiful. You know, I want to go. You know, I wanted to go to India when I was watching it. I really did. You know, but I think, yeah, I'm starting to. I think the second part of the movie, if there is such a thing, but it seemed to pick up pace at the second part of the movie, and that's what I like the best. What do you think, Craig?
My favourite scenes were probably the who's credited as the thug with the yo-yo. He was really cool. I liked his.
Oh yeah, that guy with the sort of.
Yeah. I thought he was going to have like a cool name or something. They just described him as what he is, a thug with a yo-yo. But I wouldn't have thought that was yo-yo. I thought it was like a.
Well, it was
I
like
don't
it's
even
like a
know.
buzz saw.
Like
Yeah.
a.
You think they maybe parodied that in Kill Bill? Remember the young girl Gogo? You know, bingo. She had that sort of soul thing that came out and
the only
kind
film,
of spoofed it.
the only film that I've seen with where they've had like, I think there was a clown with a killer yo-yo, which is Extra, which is a sci-fi movie. So I don't know if they parodied
Maybe they did that. Yeah,
this film or vice versa, or they got the idea from it.
maybe.
I'm not sure, but
Tarantino is good for doing a lot of cultural references and stuff when his movies all the time. He's a genius anyway. Tarantino, one of my favorite directors. But anyway, yeah, I think just the scenes of India was just great. You know, just loved it. You know,
and the Fabergé eggs were beautifully
Oh, man.
designed. Whoever had the hard task of creating those
Wow.
props, I mean,
No,
there's a lot of work going into that.
how many? Does anybody know actually how many Fabergé eggs are in the world? You know, there's not that many, is it? It's like sort of very rare. You know, I mean, there's a lot of fakes out there, of course. You know, but some of the Sotheby's, I think, did a few years back. One came up for auction, like, you know, it was in the millions, of course. But it had all these like amazing the beauty human beings can create, and then on the other hand, the darkness and the dark side of it, and the war we can create. You know,
There are 57 in the world today, David.
57. Wow. Thanks. 50. It's almost like Heinz, isn't it? Heinz 57 Fabergés.
But I like the bit where, at the end when the guy got hit in the face with a plane aerial. That was
Oh God, yeah.
really random. I was thinking, how is this guy gonna die at any point? And then right at the end, he just got hit in the face with an aerial.
Yeah, these stud
You
guys
know,
are these stud guys are the true superheroes, man.
Yeah.
Jeez, man, you know, they must get some injuries. Wow.
But I like the film. I mean, it was full of gadgets. It had girls. It was different cultures, different snapping from one place to the other.
It was the full Monty.
Octo entendres, yeah. Back to you, Connor.
Thank you, Craig and David. Let's go over to Tim next.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with everybody. Pretty much, it's actually quite an inventive movie for a Bond film. I think it's because Connor, you make a good point. Some of the movies are a bit too silly, like Moonraker. It's fun, but it's not. It doesn't really take itself that seriously. Basically, I'm just hopping on the bandwagon at that time because it was all about the new sci-fi craze that Star Wars created, and
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So this is a lot more serious, but like you pointed out, the humor's toned down a little bit, but it's still good humor. I mean, there's still some very funny scenes, like I just mentioned the last scene on the plane with the what do you call it, antenna. But yeah, as far as favorite parts, again, yeah, they did some pretty inventive stuff, like the three assassins with the yo-yo guy. I mean, that was pretty insane. You were like, how does that work? I mean, it's like a chainsaw, but I mean, it's a yo-yo. But yeah, I'd have to say it'd be the double whammy of first the train scene, which you think would be the final set piece, and then they move up to a plane, and you're just like, wow. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than this. I mean, so I'd say, I mean, I'd agree with Lee that this is probably one of the better war films. I mean, it's right up there with Live and Let Die, and probably better than a couple of them, like Moonraker, like I already mentioned, which is fun watch, but it's very silly. I mean, it's a silly movie. So yeah, I would say that probably the double whammy of those two scenes towards the end. It's just a very well made movie. I mean, I really couldn't find any fault with it.
Thank you, Tim. I have quite a few favourite moments that I've just thought about. The tuk-tuk chase was hilarious. I drove a tuk-tuk. I actually drove a tuk-tuk 2 weeks ago, and they're like, you're surprised you don't kill yourself on them because that you can just flip them over at any point. It's just insane. So it's having a whole chase scene on one of them is just
Brilliant.
unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, and also I have a few favorite moments written down. Actually, let me just find them. Yeah, as I mentioned, the clown scene was probably the most I've ever been creeped out by James Bond, and probably ever will, because that's just not. It's like watching It or something. It's really weird. But
It's only a PG.
I know, but it's just really
Yeah,
weird.
PG tips. It's supposed to be James Bond.
But the scene that no one's mentioned, and I'm surprised, but I guess you're not all perverts, is the boob shot in Q's lair when he's testing out the camera.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I just thought
Jesus Christ, I forgot about that.
Oh
And
yeah.
That's just too fucking funny. Like the way that Roger Moore played that. I mean, he's not my favourite Bond, but no other Bond could have done that as well as he did.
So smoothly.
Just how it kind of like, I don't know what the effect is called, but it kind of just like zooms in and out really fast, doesn't it? And it just makes it look really just bizarre in a way. But yeah, the Q scenes, as always, is fantastic.
It was good to see Q in on the action as well.
Yeah. He very rarely gets.
Yeah, that's right. The
I
girls,
think,
said, "Are you full of hot air, Q?" And he said, "Typical," something like that.
it is always good when you see Q out in the field. Yeah, for sure. And as always, his protectiveness over his gadgets and his creative. But yeah, they're my favourite moments, really.
Connor, there was also a Blink and You'll Miss Him moment in Q department. Jeremy Bullock, who plays Boba Fett.
Yeah, Boba Fett. Yeah, I missed that.
He was doing one of the kicks in the lab.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him when I saw him, but I saw his name in the credits. I was like, yeah, that was that dude. Because you remember he's also in that Doctor Who story.
The pre-titles is great as well with the. I guess it's like a plane that's a part of a car. So it's like half car, half plane. It's weird. Like the line "fill him up." It's just kind of like okay.
This movie was full of funny sexist one-liners. Like I lost count.
It was nice to see Q get the girl and James Bond. Yeah, Q got a few girls in that when he came down in the hot air balloon.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That scene with that scene at the beginning, Connor.
Like Michael Caine getting laid in Batman.
They attached the plane to a car.
Yeah.
With Roger Moore in it, going through a big aerodrome.
Yeah,
to film that.
Jesus, it's just insane how the bit when the horse's ass goes. I actually thought it was real.
Oh yeah.
The horse's ass just lifts up, and suddenly this plane just falls out. It's not. It's almost not James Bond. It's more like Austin Powers than James Bond.
Austin Powers, yeah.
Also the scene that was Raiders of the Lost Ark. Not Raiders of the Lost Ark. Temple of Doom before this. After. So, Temple of Doom must have parodied this then, because the scene where Kamal Khan presents him with the dead sheep head is.
Oh, that was disgusting.
Oh yeah.
It was like, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here.
The eye is made of marzipan, so Louis Jordan didn't actually have to eat an eyeball, which is lucky. But yeah, there's
that's like when you see him, you think, oh, he doesn't look too bad, and then he eats the eyeball, and you think, no, he's a bit of a wrong one actually. It's not normal.
If it had been a highball, you wouldn't mind it. Or a highball or an eyeball.
It could be psychopathic.
The thing with eating like strange things in foreign countries is that you actually do eat strange things in foreign countries. I mean, I ate a lot of sheep's parts that were because you know you do that. I was in Turkey and yeah, that's what you do. So not a totally strange thing actually, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not quite for me. I think I'll stick to my whatever.
I'm not putting any testicle in my mouth.
Not even From Under Duress by Ant and Dec. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, so that's my favourite moments. Let's move on to ratings and final say. Let's go to Susan first.
All right. Well, I really love James Bond, and I really like this movie, and it was fun to see it again. I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Thank you, Susan. Lee?
Roger Moore rocks. He's the best Bond there. This is my favourite movie by him. It's getting 10 sheep eyeballs.
10. Tim?
Yeah, I was unexpectedly surprised by how good this was. So I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I think I was really surprised at how good this was, and I'm glad I finally saw the whole thing.
Thank you, Tim. Craig and David?
What do you think?
Well, Octopussy, she was voted one of the top 10 Bond girls.
Yeah.
And they described her as a really powerful and impressive woman. What would you?
Now we've all had a talk about it, and it reminded me of other scenes. I was going to say 8, but now I think maybe 9.
Yeah,
Definitely,
I'll give it a 9.
A 9, you know. But so many great jokes actually. Like now it's starting to come back. It's almost like one of them movies that seems to hit you later on, like, you know. Yeah. No. Yeah. Definitely a 9. And right.
Okay.
Or the Octopussy. And the Terminator. And
for the
put them in the gully.
and for the cool poster design, I really love the font that they used on the Octopussy. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. And top marks all the stuntmen. Christ, man. Phew.
Yeah, it must have been crazy for them. Thank you, Craig and David. I'll give it a 7.5. It's not my favourite Bond film, but it's the best one of the best of Roger Moore's. That's not saying an awful lot though. But 7.5 is not too bad.
Still a good score.
Yeah, but when you come from the Middle Ages like me, who are like Sean Connery, you know, first Bond movie was in 1575. Oh no, sorry, that was the name of the rose. No, but anyway, when you pre-Roger, post-Roger. Anyway, shut up. Give it a 9.
Yes, I'll give it a 7.5. So yeah, that's our review of the 15th Bond film? Did you say 15th?
Was it 13?
Unlucky for some.
13. The 13th Bond film, Octopussy, starring Roger Moore and Maud Adams. Yeah, so join us next time. I believe the next movie we'll be doing in the Bond saga, in the run-up to No Time to Die, is The Living Daylights with Timothy Dalton. So that's one to look forward to in about a month's time.
That's a good one.
So, yep, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. And if you want to join, message Lee, and we'll try and get you on a cast at some point, hopefully in the near future. And please do leave comments, because I like reading the comments. I also like replying to them, because sometimes they start fights, and I like a good fight. So make sure you comment if you can as well. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.